Sage mode could be the key to defeat the Shinjus. Now, before, we kind of saw how they had to fight the Ten Tails Jinchuriki with Obito and Madara, but now I don't know if that same principle will apply to the Shinju. It can be assumed that because the Ten Tails itself is basically a bundle of nature energy, Sage mode is the key attacking force to destroy them, to defeat them really, to kill them. And there's not a whole lot of people who know how to use it. Now, we don't know what Konohamaru's been doing, and I want to believe that some ounce of him has been training in Sage mode to learn something at least, okay? So there's definitely a possibility with that. But then the other key player is Mitsuki. Mitsuki has, I think it's Snake Sage. He has some sort of Sage mode that Orochimaru couldn't get, but now Mitsuki has it. And that could be really interesting to see how he uses it against the Shinju, specifically against Ryu in this upcoming chapter. It's going to be really cool to see how he uses it, what he uses it for. We know that against Boruto, he didn't really stand all that high of a chance, but that doesn't mean against an opponent where his Sage mode could be of value, can definitely be devastating. Now, who else could learn Sage mode? And I'm immediately thinking Himawari, because Naruto did it, she could do it, but I also feel like maybe she doesn't have to do it. I feel like maybe, I don't know what's going on with her and her Byakugan, but I feel like maybe that's going to be the boost, like the visual boost that she's going to get as opposed to Sage mode. But maybe it'll be all three. It'll be Kurama, it'll be her Byakugan, and it'll be Sage mode. So all three of them will basically morph together and create this powerful ocular next level, you know what I mean, Jinchuriki in her. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know who's going to teach her. It could be Kashin Koji, it could be Boruto, and there's also the possibility that maybe Boruto learns it, though I figure this late in the game they probably should have already taught him that, you know what I mean? That definitely should have been a part of his training with either Sasuke or, Kashin Koji, right? So somewhere in between that, he should have basic principles of Sage mode. Maybe not be as good as Naruto, but we'll see. It also is like a whole journey to Mount Miyoboku and back, and it's who knows what's gonna happen with that. And then outside of that, I don't see Sarada learning Sage mode. I don't see Shikadai or Chocho or Inojin learning it. Honestly, I feel like that's it. Those are our heavy contenders. So with Sage mode, it could be a big blow against the other Shinju. We don't know that it's not because we haven't seen Sage Jutsu used against them. So for all we know, that could be a real stake to the heart, a silver bullet. You know what I mean? That could be a really heavy hit. So because of Sage mode, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that they're like in an arm wrestle, they may not be able to overpower or defeat the Shinju, but with a little bit of Sage power, they might be able to have that competitive edge, you know what I mean? That little something over them. But again, there's no absolutely telling if Sage mode alone will help or necessarily kill them. All it guarantees is that their attacks will hurt a lot more, or it'll be a heavier impact. It doesn't guarantee that they won't fight back, or you know what I mean? It just puts them in the fight itself. Not to mention, there's also Metal Lee, which is I feel, and Rock Lee and everybody else, so it's Taijutsu is also an option, but it's looking more and more like they're just kind of forgetting that, pushing that off to the side, which is disappointing because the Taijutsu is so much fun, it's so action-packed, it's so action-heavy, and it feels like it gets put on the back burner. But Sage mode really is a contender for one of the important practices of ninjutsu that could really damage the Ten Tails, that could hurt the Shinju. And moving forward, it'll definitely give the other characters something to train for, right? To work on. Definitely a higher level of strength and skill involved in that. So I'm hoping that that's something that they implement or that they bring back to make it a part of it. Maybe it won't be as long in explaining it because we already know the basics of it and how it works. So it probably won't be as long of a training session as it was with maybe Naruto, but it could be important. And I think it is a key component to defeating the Shinju. If it's not, then they could just do regular ninjutsu. That works too. That's fine too. It's just they need to refine and get stronger in their abilities. So I'm definitely looking out for Mitsuki versus Ryu in this upcoming chapter because we'll be able to see how his Sage Mode will work against Ryu. And then if Konohamaru learns Sage Mode, that could also be a good thing against his Shinju fight. So it's going to be exciting to see. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Yeah.